Hey guys, so this is a recording. Someone from the breast center called me and gave me some information about what type of cancer, what's fueling it. Instead of me trying to explain it, I was like, oh, let me start recording this. So this explains everything. Is it a triple three or triple negative or I was like, I have no idea. They didn't tell me any of that.
Right. So, and probably yesterday when she had, so a lot of the times when they get the preliminary report, it just says like invasive ductal, but they don't really know anything beyond that. It's kind of, because it's preliminary. So they just know, yes, you have cancer. This is kind of the type it is, but we're still waiting for more. So you can tell people you are, and this is part of the stuff that we'll talk about on Monday into further detail, but you are ERPR positive, so you might hear those terms kind of bouncing around.
Okay.
So it's estrogen receptor and progesterone receptor positive, which means that this cancer is being fed by those hormones.
Okay.
So that, and triple negative is something that you'll hear. So those, the ER and the PR part of those are negative, which means that it's not being fed by those hormones. So that's not you. And
it's triple positive?
No, you are positive, and then there's a question mark. So the other question mark part is, it's called the HER2 score, and that's a protein that our body produces, and if it's positive, it means it's being overproduced, and if it's negative, it means it's not. And so in this case, it's called equivocal, which means that they had to send out a specimen for further testing. So it means it could really go either way. So you will either be triple positive or you'll be ERPR positive, HER2 negative, but we don't know yet.
Okay.
And that can take up to, I remember calling and asking, almost like 2 weeks. A lot of times it does not take that long, but sometimes it can take up to 2 weeks. I think it's like 10 business days or something.
Okay.
That they have to get that test back, and it's called a FISH, if anyone that might know about this. So they send out a FISH, which is just additional testing on that HER2 score. And so we don't know what that part of it is yet.
Okay.
But you are definitely not triple negative because you are the first two, the estrogen receptor and progesterone receptor, are positive.
And that's good.
It is good because this tells us what is feeding the cancer.
Okay.
And that's these hormones. So it's good because we know how to stop that.
Okay.
If that makes sense.
It does.
So, yeah, so it is good. So for example, in triple negative, when those are negative, we don't know what the cancer is being fed by. And so they kind of just have to throw a lot of stuff at it to see what works. So in this case, we know there are hormone blockers that you will take that kind of block the production of those hormones so that the cancer is not being fed by that anymore.
Okay.
Okay?
Okay.
So yes, it is good. And then the HER2, that's the big question mark. So we just don't know. If it's negative, that's good. If it's positive, it's okay. We know that it's also being fed by this protein, but it allows us to know what's going to drive the treatment of this cancer. So we just need to wait for the results of that to see what kind of treatment you'll need.
So it's not going to be. It's like, all right. So the way I'm thinking it. And that's why I'm saying everyone's telling me you're thinking about this wrong. You're thinking about it positively, but you could be very wrong and get disappointed. But I keep thinking, all right, it's size of a pea. The surgeon's going to go in, remove it, and it's done. Mm-hmm.
And I tried to look up the size of it, and I couldn't find it. So they told you it was the size of a pea?
Yeah, it said it was a centimeter.
Oh, good. That's good. So typically, and again, you'll have to meet with Dr. Richardson. He's excellent.
Okay.
So typically he'll explain, your pathology to you and the size and basically what the standard of care is for this type of report on the pathology. And so since it's a centimeter or less, they'll typically go in and do a lumpectomy. So they'll just remove the area of diseased tissue. Remember how I was talking about that clip
Yeah.
that they inserted? So they'll locate that clip in surgery and remove it and get clean margins, meaning no cancerous cells around the perimeter of that diseased tissue that they're removing. And then once they're done with that, radiation is next, because we can't see a single cell. So if there's like a rogue cell a little bit further out that we didn't catch, that's what radiation will do. It'll kill off any kind of rogue cells that are still kind of hiding. And then the next thing would be a hormone blocker to block the production of the estrogen and progesterone so that your body doesn't produce more cancerous cells.
Okay.
So that's typically, as long as that HER2, the one that we don't know what it is yet, as long as that's negative, then that's about what you would expect to see as far as treatment goes.
Okay. Now, my other queen, that both my grandmas died of breast cancer. I've had skin cancer. I definitely want genetic testing because if it comes back positive, I might as well just get a double mastectomy and get reconstruction.
Oh, well, I mean, then if you have the ability to do something else, I would say that.
Yeah, probably. I did. I signed up yesterday, but it doesn't start till the 1st.
Well, that's all right. I mean, that's better than nothing.
Exactly. Because I was thinking worst case scenario, do a lumpectomy, be done, and then next year get genetic testing and then figure it out from there.
Mm-hmm. And Dr. Richardson would be able to tell you better, you know, because I think that he probably understands that part of it, too.
Okay.
I think physicians are required to, I don't know, take, classes on insurance and stuff.
Okay.
So he might be able to tell you better.
This is something that my body is just producing.
So we don't know what started it.
Okay.
But we know what's feeding it.
Okay. And
my best guess would be probably your genetics.
Okay.
Just because, I remember, because both grandmothers, right, had breast cancer, and so that would be an educated guess, but not something, we don't really ever know what starts it. We just based off of your pathology, kind of what's feeding it.
Yeah, it was funny when I was telling people before I was officially diagnosed, I was like, 2 nurses and a doctor all told me that they think it is cancer, and everyone's like, nurses wouldn't tell you that. Oh my God, yes they did. I'm like, they sat there. I go, I'm not going to sue them if they're wrong. I said, but the one, meaning you, I said, the one I spoke to was like, we've been known to be wrong, but, yeah, it does look like it, but I could be wrong, and nurses wouldn't tell you that. I'm like, oh my God, yes, they did. I was like, they know I'm not going to hold a candle to it, but yeah, they did.
Well, typically, if the radiologist, a lot of times the radiologists kind of just know, based off of what they see. But again, until we send off that pathology, there's no absolute certainty.
So what's the other, I was like, I already have a vacation plan to go to Florida November 20th, but if you're still waiting for tests, then I'm not going to get surgery before then, right?
Well, they will, that's another question. So it's, based on the size of it, it really could go either way. Dr. Richardson is really, the one that will make that decision.
Okay.
However, typically, if it's smaller, less than 2 centimeters, they'll do surgery first regardless of what the other test shows.
Okay.
But a lumpectomy, you said when's your trip? The end of November?
In November 20th.
So, I mean, the recovery from a lumpectomy is not terrible. So you probably could still do that. And then it would be, in between that and radiation. So it's a possibility.
Okay. And what?
So I would say don't cancel it.
Oh no, I can't cancel it.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it's a possibility that you could get surgery before and still go on your trip, or you could delay it until after your trip. So.
And what are the odds that it's going to grow, 3 centimeters in a couple of weeks?
So that depends on the results of this HER2.
Oh, okay.
So that one can kind of help. I don't know about if it would grow that fast. And again, Dr. Robertson would be able to tell you better. But that is kind of, it's more aggressive than that ERPR component. Let me look at your other thing.
Okay.
So you are, mitotic activity. So mitotic activity, it's rated 1 out of 3. And the mitotic activity is just basically how quickly the cells are dividing.
Okay.
And so 1 means slow. It's the slowest.
Okay, good.
Of them. But again, it does depend on that HER2 score.
And is this all from postmenopause?
I mean, I don't really have an answer for that.
Okay.
A lot of it could be, because you would probably think, if you're post-menopause, then you wouldn't be producing as much
exactly
progesterone, but there's still other, I guess, organs in our body that produce it, even if you had a hysterectomy or, there's still parts of our body that still produce it, so it's still there. I know.
That's what I get for not taking, having an easy menopause and never taking medicine or anything. This is what I get.
Right. No. I know, it's tough, but...
All right. So hopefully this will be a smooth... How much radiation do I need?
So you'll meet with a radiation oncologist, and I can give you the typical time is usually, I think they say 21 days, but it's Monday through Friday, so you don't do radiation on the weekends.
Okay.
But it's 21 consecutive days with the exception of the weekends.
But that's not chemo, I won't lose my hair.
That's not.
Okay.
No, it's different.
All right.
So.
But I don't need chemo as of now.
You still there?
Yeah, I don't need chemo as of now, right?
So again, that HER2.
Oh, okay.
Will kind of answer that question as well.
Okay.
Yeah, so a lot of the questions all depend on that HER2 score.
Okay.
Yeah, so we don't know.
All right.
All right. So do you still want to come in at 2:30 on Monday?
Oh, believe me, I got
perfect.
plenty of more questions.
All right.